Hey everyone, it's Lady Knight here, and today I want to show a deck that I have previously shown on my channel before. It is the Mystical Universe Tarot. I don't know if this really has a name, but it's on Etsy, and Mystical Universe something is the name of the seller. And so I just call it the Mystical Universe Tarot. And I got two different versions of it. I have previously on my channel I can't English today, on my channel shown the black and white edition. I got this one in October last year, so almost a year ago. And I've been working with that one for my Golden Dawn studies a little bit, well, in the midst of like path working. And I'm just going to put this to the side. And now I have an edition in color that I found not too long ago on Etsy. When I first got this one, it was only in black and white, in dark blue with gold dots on it, or I believe it was also black with white dots. But yeah, there wasn't a color edition back then. So now there is one, and both of these come with the same guidebook. And so, yeah, like I mentioned last time, in the guidebook, it doesn't mention anything about the creator at all. So it's basically just the card descriptions and some spreads, and that is really it. So yeah, and they come in these pouches, and you can choose between red and blue. So I get different ones, so I know which deck is in which bag. So let's just take them out. So here we have the black and white version. And here is the color version. So these are the two decks. So the back side looks like this. And I have to say I prefer the black and white version over this one, but that's because I don't really like the color combination, like this muted purple, dark blue-ish kind of thing here. That's just not my personal color combination. I like cooler colors. This is a little bit too warm from the color palette for me. So yeah, I prefer this one because the contrasts are also much bigger, because here everything is black. Well, here is white. So yeah, the contrast is, for me, better in this one. So let's just flip through, and I'm going to stop at some of the cards that I really like, and where I think there you can really see a difference. And yeah, like I said, I've been using this deck, both of these decks, for path working, like going through the 32 paths on the Tree of Life. And there is a workbook that we're using during our studies that has, like, for all the majors, for all the paths, specific questions. And in order to answer these, we're pulling cards. And I have used this deck quite a bit, and recently also used this one, and I just love how it reads, absolutely. So here with this one, I have to say I like the color version. The red is just a bit too dominant for me. I don't know. Like in this, I kind of like like up here, I like this one, but here I kind of like the color version. So with the Magician, I definitely prefer this one, because here, I'm going to bring this closer. You can see when you look at his eyes, like in the black and white version, you can actually see one is a snake eye and the other one is, it looks like a blind eye. And with the color version, you can't really tell too much because they have the same color. So the snake eye in the red is barely visible. I wish they would have done that one maybe in yellow or green. And yeah, since the other one also has a color, the blindness is not really visible, or I don't know if it's blindness, but it's definitely something, like the eyes are different, but it doesn't really make too much of a difference in the color version. And that's why in this case, I definitely prefer that one. So here with the High Priestess, a very vibrant red. And I guess I'm also leaning more towards this because this is like all dark, kind of like the red, the brown is very similar. And I just like that here there's more of a contrast. So I prefer the black and white version as well. So here with the Empress, they both look fine to me. Like I don't really have a preference in this one. With the Emperor, I don't know. I like both of them. With the color version, of course, my eye is drawn to specific details depending on the light and dark colors. And yeah, the same thing in the black and white version where the shadow is leading my eye towards certain things. Here, I kind of like the color version better with the Hierophant because now I can see what he's holding in his hand a little bit better compared to the black and white version. So yeah, here I prefer the color. I love this Lover's card. This is just so gentle and everything, but also undecided for me. Like it's a tie. I like both of them for different reasons. Like this one just looks very gentle. And here, once again, my eye is focusing on specific details because of the color. Here, it's the black and white one, simply because these certain colors are not exactly mine. It looks a little more vibrant here on camera than in real life, but yeah, I prefer the black and white version in this. Here, I like the color version better because it just, yeah, it brings out the details a lot more and the contrast between the lion and the background and everything. Like the woman, it's very similar all here. So yeah, I like that it's very different over here. And with the Hermit, I also kind of prefer the color version because here the lines are a lot more clear. In the black and white version, it is like the lines here with his coat are not, like it looks better on camera than it does in real life. It's kind of, well, not blurry, but it's harder to see. And here, because of the color, that makes it so much easier. And also the roots that are climbing up the staff or the wand from the lamp, having those in color makes them more visible. The white ones here compared to the ones in beige. So here you can hardly see them. So yeah, that's why I also prefer color. Here it's definitely the black and white one, like hands down, but that's because the colors. With this one, I'm kind of tied. I like the rainbow brain, but overall, I think I like the black and white version better. Here, it's also kind of tied. I like that I can see the apples a lot better. My eye is focusing on that, but yeah. Like with some of these cards here in this deck, the color choices are also not what I would have expected, especially when it comes to certain elements. And we will see that in the minors. For example, in the Cups cards, there I would have expected a lot more blue. This guy, I can't help it, but he just reminds me of Jason Momoa. So yeah, the Devil, I don't know. It both has its charm. The Tower card. Here, for the background, I definitely like the color version better, so I can see more like 3D. It's, yeah, it's a little more 3D in this version. Odd color choice for the star. And here I wish it wasn't so grayish kind of thing. I don't know, like there's not too much of a difference. Like the sky and the moon are different, and then the water is blue, of course, but the rest, there's not too much of a difference here. I like this version better. And here, yeah, color really makes a difference. I like this version better because, yeah, the hands, they come out. You actually have the, like these rays in different colors. The blue coming through looks a lot more vibrant and easier to distinguish than in the black and white version. So definitely this one. And here the color version also makes it a lot easier to see the details. Okay, now let's look at some minors. And I'm just gonna show you these without saying too much. I'm gonna stop at the ones that I really like. Now here, for example, of course, the color makes such a difference. That red and, yeah, with a dark background, really bringing out that a little bit more doom and gloom atmosphere. So I definitely prefer this one. The 4. Yeah, with this one here, I prefer that I can now see the snake a lot better. I mean, I can still see it here, but in the color version, it just makes it easier for me to see. Same here with this, like the spider web is pretty cluttered in the black and white version with the different spaces in between and everything. And the color version really helps to see the woman a lot better through the spider webs. And this is one of the cards where I say, yes, I'm really like, even when I just had this deck, I wanted to see this one in color. And this with the red, that just makes so much sense. And that gives me a lot to work with like the mental state, the anxiety, and the bad dreams and all of that. And here it's just not bad enough, I guess. The situation, like this, is still kind of serene and everything. But here, because of the very big contrast between the purple and the red, or purplish gray and red, that just makes it really clear what's going on. Okay, that's that. And the court cards, I have to say, yeah, they do look good in color. Yeah, I wouldn't have expected the Queen of Swords in such a red dress. That is, very fiery. I wouldn't have expected that for the element of air. Gotta have a sip of tea really quick. Okay. The King of Swords, he looks kind of sad. Like, they're still trying to work out the camera here. So the King of Swords, with the color version, I can definitely see more details. So I'm glad that this one is colored. But a difference here, like these cards, they do follow the RWS system. But you can see that there are differences. Like the king is not holding the sword. The sword is propped up in this little holder thing here. So yeah, the court cards are a bit different. Now, yeah, that is a nice fiery wand here. Love the color version. Here I appreciate the color because it just makes the structure so much more visible than in this, because it's just like all of this is just made up of lots of dots. There are no lines, actually. It's all dots. Yeah, here I like both of them, but the color is just giving me more to read with. But once again, the color choices in the court cards, like for the page, we just had green. Now for the knight, we have this grayish color here. And for the wands, like I don't really see any fiery colors. Instead, the helmet is blue. So, yeah, I wish I would have a little bit more information about this deck in the guidebook, especially when it comes to the color edition and yeah, what the choices were. This is like a perfect like Queen of Wands, like the orange dress, the tiger. I love that it's a tiger and not just a little black cat. So like in this, her hairstyle is giving me a little bit like Bride of Frankenstein with like the white thing in the middle, but it's actually not. But yeah, the white version looks very different. I don't know why the kings all look so sad in this deck. Like they all kind of look defeated or tired sometimes. Yeah, here in the color version, of course, you can see the yin yang energy a lot better. And here's also one, because of the color, the different elements or the parts of the image, they just pop a lot more and it's easier to see the distinction between them, especially with the anchor kind of shining through that one pentacle. Here, of course, what looks like the eyes up there, kind of, but what? It's just the holders, but it makes it look like eyes. And it looks a lot more dangerous and like I'm being watched in this version. So yeah, that like these two cards have me focus on very different things. Like here, those eyes are just very dominant, and like the look that comes with that is a very different thing from what I see in this one, where I don't necessarily even see those eyes because there is no color difference. So here, my focus would be more on the actual pentacles and like the lines in between and everything, where here, this is automatically where my focus goes. Okay. I love the pocket watch for this one, but I kind of like the black and white version better. Here, I also appreciate the color because the details are just so small, and because of the color, that makes it so much easier to see them. And here we have the quartz. Yeah, for the Pentacles, I was not expecting this color palette for the Queen of Pentacles. Not really. I would have expected a little bit more earthy things. Like there's no green in this card at all. But yeah, something along the lines of what the King is working with here from the colors. Like this, I really like. And yeah, well, with this one, I like both. But once again, my eye is focusing on different things with this one. Like here, the bird cage, because of the lack of color, is actually coming out a little bit more. And here my eye is drawn more to the upper part of the card for some reason. Yeah. I like the cup in itself a lot more in the black and white version, but here I can see the water around, even though the water is red here. So that's a choice that was made. Yeah, I can see it better in this one, but overall I like this one better. Here I prefer the color version for the details. It's just, yeah, it gives me more. Also here, two very different atmospheres. This looks more like stage with like the lights and the way that the lights are hitting. And this looks more like out in the open, kind of. So yeah, that also shows like what color is able to do. Like you can turn something into a completely different room with that. Yeah, here the color definitely makes the cups a lot easier to see in the building. Yeah, here it's also not just the color, but also the lighting. Like this looks a lot darker with like the spotlight directly here. And here the light is kind of only coming out of him. Whereas here it looks like, yeah, there's a spotlight on him. And on top of that, the light is coming out. And here I can see that the light is coming out a lot more than here. Like here it's barely visible. Yeah, the color gives me more detail. Yeah, this, the cups, that color choice makes perfect sense with the blues and everything, and makes it easier to see the hair and, or whatever it is that she has here around her hair, scarf. And here now I have a cups card that doesn't have any blue. There's green and orange and yellow, but there is no blue. So that is something that I'm still getting used to. But when I read with this deck, I don't really pay attention to the colors and the elements because I can't with this deck. And so I look at different things. What I love about this Knight of Cups is that the horse with its tail is holding the cup. And it's not the knight looking at the cup, holding it and offering it to someone. The horse is kind of dragging it behind. And here, this Queen of Cups is actually giving me more Queen of Wands energy because of the red dress. Once again, no blue in here. So yeah, choices were made. And we have the final card, the King of Cups, and once again, no blue, which is kind of irritating. And it is weird that the liquid coming out from under his chair is also kind of red brownish. So does that symbolize blood? It would have been nice to know about these color choices because here you simply know that it's wet, but you don't exactly know what it is. But it doesn't look that dark. So I don't know, very different things. So there you have it. This is the Mystical Universe deck in black and white and color. Something that is really weird, like the way that it was cut. I don't know if you can actually see it. Wait, let me get this. Like there are these lines here that are in the cards, and it's the same for every card. So this is definitely a cutting issue. The other one has that too. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can see a little bit like these lines that go across here. That is, you can actually feel them when you go over it. So that's from the printer. That is not from the creator, whose name is not even mentioned in the guidebook. So yeah, that's the guidebook. So what do you think? Does color make a difference compared to black and white? Which one do you prefer and why? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.